So these are my dark circles without any makeup on whatsoever. I know. I feel like they're a little more dark today because I am a little bit under the weather. I'm currently, like, I feel like I'm like 10,000 degrees right now. Like, I feel so hot, and this runny nose, not the business. So if I'm a little low energy, it's because I'm sicky. And I got my cold from like a little kid, because then I feel like little kid colds are no joke. So anyways, these are my dark circles, no makeup, no nothing. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like with no foundation on, so you could actually see the full darkness happening under here. These are pretty hereditary. Everyone in my family does have dark circles under their eyes like this, but I have noticed that the older I get, and if I don't get enough sleep, that they're like even more intense than they usually are. So lots of sleep, lots of rest can prevent dark circles, but a lot of us, it's just hereditary. So we're gonna be focusing on covering up this blue purple tones under here. So ooh. Now let's show you how I cover them up. Okay, so I have on foundation, my eyebrows and shadow and stuff like that, but the only thing that I really have on my face is foundation. So I'm going to show you guys how I conceal. Obviously the concealer adds a little bit of coverage to the under eye area, but we're going to kick it up a notch and try to get rid of these dark circles under there immediately. It's just a personal preference, but I just like my under eye to be really bright just because it's usually really dark. I'm just going to conceal one eye first so that when I'm done, you guys can see the difference in the two eyes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color correct the blueness underneath my eye, and for that I'm going to be using the NYX Dark Circle Corrector, and this is in the color medium. So they do have it in 3 different shades of orange. They have it in medium, light, and dark. So I'm going to use the medium one, and I'm using this Morphe brush, Sigma. Sephora has a super similar one. It's just a little more densely packed. I prefer the Morphe one because I feel like it gives more of like a little airbrushed effect under there. And I find that I like to use a lot of light pressure underneath my eyes. I don't like to push too much, and I find with the Sephora brush that I kind of have to push a little harder. So I'm gonna use the Morphe one, and I'm just going to swirl it in here. I never use the medium one. I usually use the light toned one. So where you want to put the orange concealer, you just want to put it in the area that has the bluish purple tones. So you don't want to put it underneath your eye in the triangle form that I usually do my concealer in. You just want to concentrate the orange in the darkest parts of your eye. So mine is going to be in just this little area right here. So you just want to put it right in here. And I feel like already it makes such a difference. So remember, just really light pressure. When I say light, I'm meaning light pressure. I feel like I always forget to say pressure, and then I'm like, they probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but I mean pressure. But I mean, you guys probably do, you're smart. And I like to take mine right up in here, like into this corner area, because I feel like I have darkness in that area. So I'm just gonna put that right there. And already you can see the difference of how much this has brightened and concealed that area underneath there. And NYX products are super inexpensive, so that's why I love it. It's really creamy too, and it's like, I've used other color correcting like orange concealers, and I felt like they were just a little too heavy and a little drying. I find that this one is nice and creamy and smooth, and it stays under there and like doesn't get all creasy and crazy. So I just want to pat that out so it's not like super crazy under there. So I put the orange right here. I stopped right there and I just concealed that circle. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to conceal. You can pretty much use any concealer that you want. I'm going to use a drugstore one. This is the Maybelline FitMe concealer. I really love this concealer. I like the color. I like the consistency of it. Concealers that I like to use under my eyes are really creamy concealers. I don't like super heavy concealers underneath my eyes because I find that they crease a lot more than like a creamy one would. I don't like anything too drying because I feel like it gets dry underneath my eyes anyway. So the way that I conceal, you guys know if you're familiar with my channel, I like to go from the corner of my eye to the tip of my nose and then bring that up to the corner of my eye here. Just for me personally, I like that concealing method as opposed to just doing like a little half moon. There's a hair on my face. As opposed to just doing a little half moon under the eye. I find that if I go from here to here to here, I just get a nice more bright looking under eye, and it conceals my dark circles a lot better. So I'm just gonna go from here to the nose and then up. So this is what I mean when I conceal in a triangle motion. And then we can just fill this in. And I usually just like to do this to fan out the edges, so it's just easier to blend. And then I'm going to take a stippling brush like this. I talk about it all the time. This is a Motives one. It was sent to me a long time ago, but again, Real Techniques makes them, MAC makes them, and it just makes blending out the under eye area really easy for me. I feel like I have more control of it than if I was going in with a beauty blender. I like to go in with a beauty blender and sometimes pat it out, but this guy's not wet. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to tap like this, just so that we keep the most amount of product. You want to do a lot of tapping. You don't want to do a lot of this, because if you were doing this underneath your eye, you're just going to be basically wiping the product off. So you just want to do a lot of tapping, like little tapping motions. Shh, babies. So we're just going to do tap, tap, tap. And again, I'm just using a really light pressure. Get up in the corner. So just light pressure, lots of tapping until it starts to blend out. And then as you can see, this brush just basically does all the work for you. All you gotta do is just tap. So then you can see the major difference already in this eye compared to this eye. It's just a brighter. You don't see a lot of the blue purple undertones that were there before. So then usually I would go on and do the rest of my makeup. I like to use a dry beauty blender sometimes just to go in really light. Remember, lots of light pressure. Just taking away any of the excess product that's there, so that it doesn't linger and it doesn't crease underneath our eyes. I know that beauty blenders are recommended to use wet, but I promise you, if you use it dry just for your under eye area, it's just gonna take away any excess product. And then the final thing that you want to do is you want to set this concealer underneath your eyes. Now I use a bunch of different setting powders for underneath my eyes. I like to use the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I think this is a great powder. It's super finely milled. It does brighten up the under eye a little bit. It is translucent, so it's not gonna have any color to it. A lot of you ask if I get any flashback, if I take a picture with it, can I see it underneath my eyes? And the answer is no. Pretty much all the pictures that I have on my Instagram, you can see that you don't really see a flashback, and those are all taken with flash photography. So I love the Secret Brightening Powder when I don't want to add any more coverage, but sometimes I want a powder that's going to give me a little color under there, not color, a little coverage under there as well. So one option is using the Shade and Light palette, and these are all to set your concealer with. They're like highlighting shades, but I like to set my concealers with them. I mainly like to use these two colors. I don't really go for this guy. I like to use the yellow and the orangey, peachy tone. The peachy tone is great for brightening up and even concealing those blue purplish tones even more. But if you don't have the Shade and Light palette, I also like to use Studio Fix powder in NW20. This I was using for a really long time. I love it. I still go back to it now and then. It's just great for if you want extra coverage underneath your eye. For today, I'm going to use the Shade and Light palette in the peachy tone just to keep it nice and bright underneath there. And I like to use this brush that comes with the, not comes with the palette, but it's meant to go with it. I just think this is perfect for getting under this area. Also, this Real Techniques setting brush is great for getting in these areas as well. I like to use this more so when I'm using the Secret Brightening Powder. And if I'm using these powders, I like to use this brush. Just preferences. So I like to load my brush up with quite a bit of product and then just give it a nice tap off, and then go in with a beauty blender, just really soft pressure again, especially because this one isn't wet, it's dry, so you really want to use soft pressure. And then keep looking up. My brush is already loaded, and then we're just going to tap that underneath the eye. A little more. Really get up in there. Light pressure. Don't be pushing this into your face, because if you do that, sometimes you can get these little dots that stay underneath your eye, and then you're just like, what the hell is this? So light pressure, lovelies. And then look at that. So this is our concealed eye, and this is our non-concealed eye. I think it's pretty good. The most important thing to me is color correcting the orange blueness underneath the eye. Any concealer will do, pretty much any powder will do. A translucent powder, if you're gonna use a translucent powder, I really recommend the Secret Brightening powder. It doesn't get caught in fine lines. Like, I don't really love the Make It Forever HD setting powder, even though people compare them all the time. I just think this one like blows those out of the water. And then if you wanna use something with a little bit of color in it, the Shade and Light palette definitely, or Studio Fix powder is great for adding a little more coverage under the under eyes as well. So I put on a little extra makeup, but to be honest with you, I'm probably gonna take it off as soon as I turn this camera off, because when I'm sick and I have a runny nose, I just feel like there's no point because I'm blowing my nose. This area is all red. I feel like I have snot all over my face. Super cute, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helped you guys out. Please leave comments down below on what you use to cover up your dark circles. Maybe it'll help some other people out that are reading below, and maybe I'll find some new products that I want to try too. So that is it for this video. I don't think I have anything else to tell you guys except I love you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.